Hello, my name is Joshua Odmark. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Pandio. Today we're going to talk about how PandioML works behind the scenes. PandioML in general is a combination of things. So it's a Python library at the end of the day, but distributed with it is Pandio CLI, which is just a command line tool that lets you interface with the Pandio.com platform. This is important because you can use PandioML to create pipelines, but then what? What do you do with that pipeline? You might have something that has predictive capabilities locally on your computer, but now you need to sort of turn that into production or externalize that in some way. That can be to give to internal members of your team. That can be to turn it into a microservice so that it can be used cross departments at your company. Or it can be a microservice that is offered to third parties or external or consumers or customers of your company. These are all obviously very important for a pipeline. You know, it's built to serve some purpose, and so it needs to be turned into production or start serving that purpose as fast as possible. And that's the point of Pandio.com being associated with PandioML. Once you have your PandioML pipeline, you can then deploy that or launch that on the Pandio platform and easily share it in any way, shape, or form. And we're going to talk about what that looks like and how you go about that. So first things first. So let's assume we have our pipeline. The screen you're looking at right now is inside of the Pandio.com dashboard, and it's a section called functions. So at the end of the day, most things that end up being productionized or turned into something that provides value is some encapsulated piece of code at the end of the day. And Pandio calls that functions. So what you're looking at here is I've got one function that's launched called example function 123. So this represents a data set. You'll see that there's one instance of it, but none are running. The very nature of a data set is you want it to grab your data and put it into your pipeline and then shut down. You may have a stream that's never ending, so it keeps sending data in. And in that case, you would have a data set that runs for forever. But what you're looking at here is one that ingested the data and then shut down. This is how you can manage your pipelines. So when you create one with PandioML and then you deploy it through the Pandio CLI, this is where it shows up. This is where it can be managed. It can be started, shut down, or anything. You can also manage it through the Pandio CLI, but I'm just connecting the dots here of what Pandio CLI is actually doing. It's taking your PandioML code and preparing it and uploading it to the Pandio platform. Now the Pandio platform is a bunch of powerful features of running code, handling the ingestion of data, doing ETL, all sorts of different things at scale for enterprises. And so that's why Pandio is a great foundation for PandioML, because you can take your pipeline, just send it to Pandio.com, and you're good to go. So let's look at an architecture diagram so that we can see what this flow actually looks like. So this is just a simple diagram that explains how it actually works. So in the middle there is PandioML. So that's that function on this tab here, example function 123. So that's representative of that right in the middle here. So you'll see that you have access to logging and artifact storage. So that's very important because you might need the ability to checkpoint your model as it's sort of building over time. So you may want to version it once a week, once a day, once an hour, whatever is convenient for you. So you're given a full sort of blob storage or basically a infinite hard drive that you can write data to, and then we make it searchable and accessible to you through various different interfaces. And then logging is just, from inside of your pipeline, any print statements or logging libraries will be accessible here. And so what that looks like is when you're inside of the Pandio dashboard, you can go into that function and you can see logs. So right now it's not running, so there's no logs. But you would see all print statements coming from your pipeline here. So it's a great way to sort of debug. So going back to the architecture diagram here. So the general flow is, so once you've deployed to the Pandio platform, that's the premise of our discussion here. This assumes your pipeline's built and you've used the Pandio CLI to deploy it to the Pandio platform. The general way where you interact with that is through input topics. And then the output topics are the results of that. So this is a bit different than the traditional REST API way of interacting with something. The negatives of a REST API are when you execute a request to your pipeline or your model, that connection remains open and connected to that pipeline that's going to give you your inference value until it completes its work, and then it returns it back. So that's an inefficient way from a resource perspective. The better way to sort of do that, in our opinion, is through topics, so traditional middleware. So you place your request on a queue or an input topic. Your pipeline takes it off of the queue, does the work, and then puts it on an output topic. So the general flow would be your request comes in on the input topic, and then that connection closes immediately. And then your client or your thing making that original request then opens up another connection to the output topic, waiting for the results. And then when the pipeline's done, it puts it onto that output topic. This allows you to scale this much larger and much easier from an operations perspective. So that's the big reason why it's sort of done that way. And Pandio uses Apache Pulsar to do that. So Apache Pulsar is a very powerful technology that handles streaming, pub/sub, queues. It has a serverless function framework. Just has a lot of magic sauce that make this work very easily. And it can be extended in many ways to do pretty incredible things. But that's one of the reasons why the Pandio CLI is so powerful, is because that tool communicates with all the magic sauce on the Pandio platform to abstract and make a lot of this simple for the end user. So that's how it works in a nutshell. It's pretty straightforward. Your request comes in like an API. It's just a message placed on an input topic. And there's clients available in pretty much every language: Python, Java, Go, C++, WebSocket if you want to do it through the browser, etc., etc. This is also how the same way that you make a request into your pipeline is the exact same way that a dataset in PandioML sends data to your pipeline. So that's very efficient because it's using the same infrastructure, the same concepts, everything to do the same type of a thing. This just reduces the complexity, keeps things simple, and simple is always good at the end of the day. So the last thing I'll sort of show is you can launch as many functions as you want at the end of the day, hundreds of pipelines, thousands of pipelines, and you can manage them through the Pandio platform. The only limitation is the plan that you have on your Pandio.com account. So we offer a sort of free trial or some credits for free so that you can kind of see how it works. And then we offer this as a managed solution, as well as an on-premise solution, or an in your cloud account solution. So if you're an enterprise that wants to have this Pandio platform running inside of your cloud account or on premise, we also offer that. Additionally, we have incredibly powerful SLAs backed by it as well. And we can also do custom SLAs where, for example, your DevOps team might run tier 1 support, so they'll manage it day to day. And if they run into an issue, we can be tier 2 support so that we can be that sort of second line of defense to solve any issues with anything related to your Pandio.com platform or usage of our platform. And that, of course, in this discussion is related to PandioML and sort of accessing data, running pipelines, learning, and doing inference in production at massive scale. So thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed this brief walkthrough of the Pandio platform and how it ties to PandioML. We'll be doing more in-depth discussions in the future about exactly how things work when building things with PandioML and then running them in production. Thank you.